Well, in the twilight, as 2022 is coming to a close, Congress passed a massive spending bill, of course, because that's what you should do if you're in Congress. And but the good news is, as a part of that, they also passed what is appropriately called the Secure Act of 2022, 2.0. So what is the Secure Act 2.0? Well, it changes a bunch of things in your retirement and a couple of things in your student loans as well. And a good blog at RamseySolutions.com right now. Very good detail on this, unpacked. If you want to get in there and really look at it and plug around. I think we post those blogs on Facebook too, if I remember, James. And but George, I want to take a minute, since that blog's out there, and you guys can go through it all and look at it in detail. But for those of you that don't make it over the blog, let's hit the highlights.
Yeah, there's a ton in here that really help a lot of people with their retirement. I mean, Secure Act stands for Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement. So kudos to the marketing team that got to create that little acronym there.
Yeah, well, good luck with that part. But anyway, it's good updates. It's some things that needed to happen.
Yeah, so it's starting with required minimum distributions. You'll hear these called RMDs. The age is rising to 73 instead of 72, which means you have an extra year without the government tapping you to get some of their cash.
Yeah, required minimum distributions are your 401k, your Roth, or your traditional IRAs. They require you to start taking money out at a minimum schedule so they can tax it. And it used to be 70 and a half. Then it moved to 72, and with this it moves to 73. So you can leave your money alone and not touch it till 73 now. That's good.
Next one, no more required minimum distributions from Roth 401ks and Roth 403bs. So this one's interesting because you've already paid the taxes on it. So they're saying you've already paid the taxes, you can just have it.
It doesn't do anything to force you to start taking it out on RMDs. So we're going to let it sit there and grow tax-free. You don't ever have to take it. Another reason to love a Roth.
That's great. Next up, smaller penalties for missed required minimum distributions. It was 50%. It's coming down to 25%.
Yeah, if you miss your RMDs. Yeah, simple.
That's good. Next, higher catch-up contributions on the way. So if you're 50 years or older, there's a lot of great ways you can step up your retirement. Put an extra $1,000 in your IRA, for example, an extra $5,000, extra $7,500 in your 401ks, and they're increasing that.
Yeah, 60 to 63, beginning in 25, in 2025, January 1, if you're age 60 to 63, you'll be able to put $10,000 annually into a workplace retirement plan, an additional $10,000. And so it allows you, if you're, quote, running behind, is it too late for me? This is for you, right?
Love it. All right, next up on the good news front, easier access to retirement funds for emergencies, or is it?
Not good news.
That's one of the downers of this plan here. We were doing so great, Dave. We were on a great roll. We were
batting 1,000 until we got to stupid land here.
And so here's what this means. Starting in 2024, you can withdraw up to $1,000 from your retirement account for personal or family emergencies. If you've been listening to the show for more than 10 seconds, you'll know that you should never tap your retirement accounts for emergencies.
Yeah, you should have an emergency fund and leave your freaking retirement account alone and let it grow and make you rich.
Absolutely. All right.
Dumb.
Here's an interesting one. Curious to get your take on this, Dave. Employers must automatically enroll you into a workplace retirement plan.
This is nanny state stuff.
Holding your hand.
This is we're going to take care of you because you're too stupid to take care of yourself idea. And so now when you join a company that has a 401k, the company is required to sign you up for the 401k automatically.
At an automatic minimum contribution rate of 3%.
And if you don't want that to happen, you have to
opt out.
Manually go in and opt out. You have to stop it from occurring. That's too much control. It's got a good intent. Want everybody to have a retirement account. That's a good thing. Yes, you need to be in your 401k, but let's say you're working the baby steps, you would need to opt out because you're not doing 401k because you're on baby step 2.
Well, and the other problem is if you are in a place to invest, you've got 3%, you don't realize it. You need to up that to 15% if you're out of debt with a fully funded emergency fund.
Yeah.
So be sure you pay attention to that stuff.
Don't, we're from the government and we're here to help. These are scary words, okay?
A 3% rate is not going to get you very far in retirement. So we've got to do better for sure. Next, this has been one of some hot debate. Employers can match your student loan payments with retirement contributions.
It's confusing.
Yes.
Because it sounds like they're paying your student loans. Now, some employers are now offering a benefit that has nothing to do with this, just where they will help you pay your student loans off one way or another, whatever it is. They'll match you, they'll do whatever. It has nothing to do with anything as far as this stuff goes. This is not that. This is you pay up to $3,000 on your student loan, and your employer puts up to $3,000 into your 401k, which doesn't, it's just like...
Wouldn't that incentivize you to never pay off your student loans?
Like, we want you to eat apples, so we're going to chop oranges. It's just weird. You mix these things up, and people are getting confused about it already. They think it means the government's going to pay part of your student, or the employer's going to pay part of your student loan and match you on what you're putting on your student loan. They're not. They have to put it in the 401k. So it's weird.
Well, it's because
anything
loans,
that gets more money against your student loan or causes you to do that, anything that gets more money into your retirement, I'm for all of that, but this is just convoluted and weird.
Well, wouldn't you be pissed if you already paid off your student loans or didn't have any, and Joe Schmo's next to you is getting an extra $3,000 in his 401k?
It's a benefit, though. That's your employer offering a benefit. The employer's not required to offer this benefit.
I'm curious to see how many employers do this.
Yeah, I don't think they'll. Well, you never know.
You never know out there. All right. Next up, you can roll over unused 529 plan funds to a Roth IRA.
Ding, ding. This one's good.
This one I love, because that's been a big point of objection. People go, well, Dave, what if my kid doesn't go to college? They don't use all the money. That money's just wasted.
Yeah, it's not.
Now you can roll it
after
over.
15 years, your kid rolls it into their Roth IRA, no penalties.
Up to the annual contribution.
So you put $150,000 into a 529. Kid uses 75 or 80,000 of it. Whatever's left in there sits there 15 years, growing tax-free in good mutual funds. And then they roll it into a Roth IRA, into good mutual funds, and it continues to grow tax-free. No penalties.
That one I'm a huge fan of.
I love this one.
This is a fun one, too. Roth options are now available for simple IRAs and SEP IRAs. So folks that are self-employed, business owners, this is cool.
I'm confused. I thought that was already there. I'm not sure they.
The Roth
I'm not
SEP
sure
and
they
Roth
didn't.
Simple.
Yeah, I'm not sure they didn't already have that, but I could be wrong. So it's good though. Yeah, the simple IRA is simply a 401k for small business. And the SEP IRA is the simple incentive match plan for it's best used by a solopreneur, because if you have employees, you have to put the same amount in.
You got to match
you put in
it
for yourself. So we seldom use SEP IRAs much, but simple IRAs are great for small businesses to open up, and now they can do a Roth.
That's good news. And lastly, new emergency savings account option alongside retirement accounts. So this one's a little different than the previous one, but it's saying that the employer can set aside up to $2,500 annually for non-highly compensated employees in a separate emergency savings alongside their retirement account. Yeah. So it's a little sidecar here.
Yeah,
but is it invested?
The problem is $2,500 is not enough for an emergency fund, and so then you've got the $1,000 you can take out of your 401k for your emergency, and you've got it all over at the employer. And so people get the idea, oh, my emergency fund's taken care of. It's not. There's not enough money. There's very few of you that 3 to 6 months of expenses represents $2,500. So this is one of those head fakes that the government's saying, hey, look, we did something, and they didn't want to do anything because it's not sufficient to cover it. Now, if they could do up to $10,000 in there or something, that might cover some people's the emergency
fund. Not
fund.
enough to do any damage here.
I wouldn't use this instead of your emergency fund, and I wouldn't use the option to cash money out of your 401k for emergencies either as your emergency fund. I wouldn't do either one. I'd leave all of that alone.
Well, credit where credit's due. There's a lot of wins in here, and you guys can check out the entire article. We've got it linked in the show notes, wherever you're listening, of course, at RamseySolutions.com. But I needed a win today. I'm going to call this a win.
I'm going to call it a win. We pick on, and we can even allow President Joe Biden to call it a win. He signed it.
I'm sure he's already tweeted it.
He signed it, and so he gets a win on that. Way to go, President Biden.
You don't hear that often from Dave.
Not often at all. Can't shoot down a balloon, but you can sign this. This is The Ramsey Show.